Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Breaking Down the Ring, the most inappropriate pro wrestling show in the mother effing world. It's a little midday today. Maybe we got some kids watching. You know, maybe we're not going to drop as many F-bombs. Fuck that. Yeah, we are. We are.
Who the fuck do you think we are?
Right. It is. We are officially at the moment of hell. Like, it is really difficult to be a professional wrestling fan today, ladies and gentlemen, because of the fact that so many people go away, whatever that is, go away. There is literally, I don't know.
Penicillin.
It's share. It's literally just telling something just popped up and it won't let me share this to Twitter. I believe. Let's find out. I think I hit something. Maybe. Nope. There it is. Still the same fucking thing. Yeah. So look, there have been nothing but sad posts today from people who are in the wrestling industry, people who are fans of the wrestling industry, things that are just hurting. There we go. Copy link. People are just hurting. Jesus, it's not fucking pasting. You know, whatever. There have been at least 16 wrestlers, 9 producers that have been released from WWE today. It is painful to watch because some of these people were thought of to be in a good standing with the company to where you wouldn't think they were going to get released. And then there's others where you're like, okay, I kind of see this as a name, but it doesn't change the fact that at the end of the day, it does not matter if a person was, you can see it, or someone that blew your mind. These are people that during the current times that we're dealing with in the country, around the world, that these are people who are now out of a job and might have to fall on financial hardships like a lot of the world is right now, you know, and that sucks because these are people who it's very possible, you know, like if we're going from here in Michigan and stuff, some of these people, you know, we got 1099 workers who haven't been able to claim unemployment or anything until just this week when everything was getting up, and even some of them are still having problems. So then you got the wrestling industry now who is going to be going for more than likely 1099 employees as well, because if, you know, we all said it's considered, what is the term that they're considered? Why can I think of that?
Contractor.
Independent contractor. That's right, Joe. So because they're independent contractors, more likely they are 1099, and therefore they're going to be having to try and file for unemployment. Some in Florida, some live around the country. You know, there are some people that live out in Connecticut. There are people that, Kurt Angle probably lives in Pittsburgh still, you know, Pennsylvania. You know, he was one of the people. So we're going to go through a list right now of what WWE has up. And then there's 2 other NXT names that are not on this list, but have said that they have left the company. So WWE put out an article. If you want to go to WWE.com, you can see it for yourself. And it states
like
that
WWE every 10 minutes.
Well, I haven't seen an update in a little bit. Luckily, after the last one that was announced. So we have Kurt Angle, Rusev, who was the last one that's been officially announced, Drake Maverick, Zack Ryder, Kurt Hawkins, Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows, Heath Slater, Eric Young, Rowan, Sarah Logan, No Way Jose, Mike Chioda, Mike Kanellis, Maria Kanellis, EC3, Aiden English, Leo Rush, and then Primo and Epico, the Colognes. Nick, I'll start off with you. Give me one name on this list that you're like, wow, really, they let that person go.
You know, some of these names are a shock to me right now because I only heard like half when you talked about it in the chat. Mike Chioda and Rusev, because Mike Chioda's been
There's one name,
with
sir.
the company. Mike Chioda. He's been with the company for a really long time. You know, and I don't know, man. Wrestler wise, Rusev for sure. I think that they underused him, and I think that he was coming along, especially once the Happy Rusev Day, you know, gimmick came and went, and I think that, you know, they could have did a lot more with him and his character.
Okay. Joe, give me one name that shocks you right now.
Kind of in the same boat as Nick. There's a few of those names I just heard you say for the first time now. Trying to go back and look at this list that was in the chat. I also find it. I was pretty surprised about Mike Chioda. He's one of their most senior referees. Same thing with Finley as an agent. He's been there for forever and a day. So is Rotunda IRS.
Just want
Scott
one
Armstrong.
name, guys. Just want one name, guys.
Just one name.
It's so hard.
Yep.
Yeah, it is very hard.
One name and why it surprised you.
I guess I'm gonna go with Chioda then, because he was their most senior referee, been around, you know, since the Attitude Era and maybe even before. Yeah, I mean, a referee, like, I guess he being one of their most senior ones, maybe he was one of the highest paid referees, so they looked at that as an easy cut. I don't know.
All right. Smitty.
I'll probably say it was Kurt Angle.
Okay. Why?
Because he was just one of those names I feel like WWE want to keep around just for his name's sake. But around this time where not a lot of people are working, there's not too many places these guys can go right now. They're not scared of him going anywhere else at this point. So, but I was just shocked to see Kurt Angle on this list.
All right. I did forget to put down the names of the producers that were let go. The names of the producers are Lance Storm, Shane Hurricane Helms, Mike Rotunda, Dave Finley, Scott Armstrong, Pat Buck, Sarah Stock, Sean Devari, and Billy Kidman. Sarah Stock put out a tweet today as well saying that she really appreciates the fact that she had a storyline that hit the heart of so many people. And then she did like hashtag Mandy and Otis forever. So it looks like she was one of the people that were a part of doesn't look like, she is one of the people that were a part of the Mandy Otis storyline that so many of us, and we all praised for the ending of it. I guess my next question is, with all these producers, guys, you know, well, I guess let me give my name that most shocked me. And the one that most shocked me was Rusev, you know, mainly because, it shocked me, but then I was like, okay, here comes Lana, right? Because you got to think, without Lana, Rusev without Lana is just weird, right? Lana without Rusev, it's on the Raw right now, that storyline is going to hell, you know, because Bobby Lashley, he's like, I need new management, maybe a new wife. So it just seemed to me like WWE would write something in on Raw where Lashley was like, yeah, got rid of her, fired her, you know, him being the one that got rid of her. But yeah, so Rusev shocks me mainly because it did not follow up with Lana right away. And I was definitely expecting that after hearing that. But then again, at the same time, Sarah Logan is married to Eric Rowe of the Viking Raiders. And there's slight rumors about him, the Viking Raiders leaving. But not with what they just did with him. But again, you don't know because
I heard they got released too.
Yeah, we haven't seen anything on it though. So that's.
Yeah.
What?
I would say the Rusev Lana thing, like I'm just seeing Mark Merrill and Sable all over again right now.
Mm-hmm. So
or maybe they just haven't released Lana yet. Maybe hers is coming too.
It's very possible. Very, very possible. So Joe, I'm going to start with you then. Give me a name on this list that you're just looking at it going, yeah, I could totally see that. And again, we're not trying to shit all over these people, but look, there are some times that you read a name and it's like, oh, that sucks. I was not expecting that. But then you see another name and you're like, all right, I kind of get it. They're not utilized as much, or you don't hear much about them. So it still sucks that they're released. It still sucks that they're technically out of a job right now.
Yeah, the obvious one there is EC3.
Okay.
I mean, shit, I'd have released him before this shit. In fact, I would have never hired him. But I mean, in all serious, all jokes aside, they weren't doing anything. They were doing less than nothing with him. Like, he was doing the Red Cup thing for a minute, but then Street Profits got called up, so he stopped doing that. So yeah, and him and EY definitely, except for I like EY a lot more than EC3.
Smitty, give me one name, brother.
Actually, mine was a tag team, Epico and Primo.
Really? Not shocking. All right. And why is that?
Pretty much the same reason that Joe just said. They weren't really doing anything on there. And I'm actually one of the people here that every now and again watches Superstars and Main Event every now and again. And even on there, they're just out there pretty much just doing the job.
Nick?
Well, Smitty took my answer. So to go with somebody different, Noe Jose. I mean, I guess his character is kind of likable, but to use Joe's term, it's tickle butt. And it's a little too much tickle butt. If there ever was
Adam
such
Rose
a thing.
McCullough.
So,
He's right.
What? There's Adam Rose McCullough?
Yeah.
I get my name where I'm not so surprised, but I will say it sucks for sure, is Eric Young, man. Joe kind of mentioned him at the end of it, but Eric Young, after that call-up, it really fucked them. That whole stable.
Sanity fire in NXT, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were really starting to heat up, and then they were called up, and it's really sucked because they were starting to heat up. It wasn't like they were heating up in a way to where everyone knew who they were. Because right now, if you're any of the casual wrestling fans, and even some beyond casual, can name Undisputed Era or at least Adam Cole, as the NXT champion and stuff. So when Sanity was getting called up, they hadn't really done anything major. They had like a couple good matches, but they weren't featured. They weren't featured across every show or every other show. They would show up like every third show, and it kind of sucked to see.
They were in one of the War Games matches.
Right. But again, it wasn't like that they were being utilized enough to where they were embedded into people's brains so that when they got called up, they were recognized enough. Like, think about this. Adam Cole comes up and he first shows up that one SmackDown, right? And he comes out and he does the boom, and you hear half the crowd go with it, right? Now in NXT, obviously much smaller crowd, but they know him. So it's a real loud, and even when you get to the takeovers, loud explosion of the boom. When he came out on SmackDown, you could tell half the crowd knew who he was, half the crowd didn't know. But it was still enough of a reaction to where you go, okay, a lot of people know who Adam Cole is. Sanity comes up and people are just like, majority of the people are like, I don't know what's going on here. And it hurt them. I think that call-up really hurt them. And then, of course, just flip-flopping everyone around and sending others back to NXT. And then now you got NXT UK, Nikki Cross going over, becoming a tag team with Alexa Bliss. Eric Young just got lost in the mix. Eric Young was TNA's Daniel Bryan, right? Like, when he was having his major run in TNA, it was kind of based off the Daniel Bryan thing, the small guy with the beard storyline. So I'm not surprised about Eric Young, but I can totally see. I'm not surprised, but I could totally see why and how it led that way. Next question, Smitty. We'll start off with you. Let's start off with Rusev. I'll give you Rusev. Where are you hoping Rusev lands? Which promotion do you think will be a really good fit for him? Ring of Honor, New Japan, AEW, NWA, Impact, any of these that have some sort of television deal or something like that. Where do you think that Rusev will be best used?
Rusev, I think it'd be best using NWA.
Yeah.
Because he's got more of an old school feel to it. Like the way he wrestles, he has more of an old school feel to him. As an athletic big guy, I can see him putting on some good matches with guys like Eli Drake and even Nick Aldis over there. And then by proxy, he'll be probably doing some work with Ring of Honor because Marty Scurll's kind of have those guys collaborating right now. So I think like NWA would probably be the best fit for him.
Joe, do you agree with that?
No, I think he'd be better off in AEW actually, because he's already had a ton of national exposure. They're on national TV. Especially if Lana gets released as well, they could go in there as a package deal. It could be kind of like the Brody Lee thing, you know. There's a lot of material they could use, you know.
Join the Dark Order.
Well, they don't have to join the Dark Order, but there's a lot of material that can be used for potential promos. Let's just put it that way.
Nick, you in the same boat as one of these two?
More so Joe. I do like what Smitty said about him going over to NWA because, you know, his wrestling style and that does have that more old school vibe. But I think sticking along the lines with where he's comfortable character wise, especially with Lana, if she ends up getting released, AEW for sure. It could go either way, but I definitely see AEW more.
All right. Next guy let's talk about is another one who obviously we're all talking about how underutilized he was in the WWE, and that's EC3. Joe, we'll start off with you. Where are you hoping Ethan Carter III ends up?
Or
where do you think he'll best flourish? Not where you hope he ends up. Where do you think he'll best flourish?
Probably back in Impact.
Okay.
I mean, he's got a history with that company. That's probably the best fit for him.
All right. Nick.
I wasn't familiar with him in Impact. I can't see him going to AEW. I don't have a lot of experience watching him outside of just a few matches in NXT. So I would have to, you know, go back to where he started, you know, Impact.
Okay.
I kind of agree with Impact, but if not Impact, if you want to try his hand at something new, once again, NWA. This guy's great on the mic if you give him a chance. Good in the ring. And I am familiar with his work at Impact, so.
Okay. One of the next people that are involved in all of this is a person that's he's the only person that is considered an announcer, and that's Aiden English. Are any of you hoping to hear him announce anywhere else? I know, Smitty, you've been basically paid a lot of attention to where he announced at, and so what are your thoughts on it?
I think we see Aiden English actually go back in the in-ring competition if he is cleared for it. I think he was behind the desk because it was a job.
Oh, okay. Joe?
You're talking about Aiden English?
Yeah.
Now that's a guy I could see go to NWA.
Okay.
Either on commentary or wrestling or both with his style.
All right. Nick, what about you?
Yeah, NWA for sure. He's good in the ring. His mic skills he's very articulate with his words, but his voice kind of drives me a little crazy. So I don't know. Yeah, I could see him in NWA.
All right. Another person that has been released as the couple, Mike Kanellis and Maria Kanellis. You know, there's a while there that people were saying that, you know, that he wanted his release from WWE, and then they ended up using him a little bit more. They probably signed him into that $500,000 a year contract just to keep people away from going to other places. Nick, do you feel like he has a future somewhere else? And again, look, let's be very honest, man. The wrestling industry as a whole is, except for WWE, who's been deemed an essential business in Florida to keep going. And even though they're based out of Stamford, Connecticut, the state of Florida has been like, oh, yeah, you're essential media. So, we won't get into the conspiracy stuff of that with donations and everything like that. But this is all based on when things can come up. Do you think that it's possible that they bring them into the back to the WWE or just go out on their own way?
I think they let them go and part ways for good. Maybe a company like, Impact or even AEW. I don't know if they're necessarily the right fit for AEW. I like Mike Kanellis in the ring to a point. I think he's, a pretty good worker. I'm not a fan of Maria. I used to be. I don't see anything like NWA or anything like that. So maybe Impact or AEW. I don't think WWE will work with them ever again, though.
Smitty.
Actually, I think let's bring the Kingdom back. Send them back to ROH, and bring the Kingdom back. Because Matt Taven and Mike Bennett were amazing together. And
yeah, now Vinny Marseglia just turned on the Kingdom, so he could fit
there's
back.
a spot open. And then you got so you bring back the original Kingdom, and then they were actually a draw in Ring of Honor. And then honestly, like when it comes to like how Nick said, he does not really familiar, he doesn't like Maria. Maria, when she was managing the Kingdom, was actually amazing.
Yeah, she was.
So,
But
Joe,
I don't know. I'm sorry.
Are you agreeing with him then?
I don't know if that's. I don't know if the people are going to take to him after the way WWE fucked him and cucked him. His career dead. Seriously.
But you know how it is when you leave that company. Whatever promotion you go to, you bash the company on how they use you, and you pretty much got a clean slate from there.
Well, good. Then let him go to Ring of Honor and bash the company.
Okay. Nick?
Is he here now too?
Z's here, yeah. So
You already went to me. Yeah, I already. Yeah.
All right. Z, where do you think Mr. and Mrs. Kanellis should go?
Home.
They got a 2-year-old and an infant.
I don't know how many of these competitors have to wait out the 90-day no compete.
None
clause?
of them. They're all released immediately. According to the 2 NXT ones of Deonna Purrazzo and the second name is slipping my mind right now. Give me 2 seconds. I'll get it pulled
Deonna
up.
Purrazzo was just on Raw too.
Right. So the two, Deonna Purrazzo and Alexander Jacek, those two were released from them. According to what we've heard from the NXT releases, they're still getting 30 days of pay with the release and everything like that. So I don't know if that extends to the WWE people. I know for the 2 NXT people, it is being said. So Holmesy, because there is no compete clause, but it's kind of hard to compete when there's no other promotion doing anything.
Right. So they should go home and figure it out when this whole thing's over. I mean, there's a couple of these.
That's the question. The question is when this is over, where would you like to see them go to further their career, or what would you think is the best spot for them to go?
Either back to Impact or the other NWA.
NWA. All right. I thought somebody.
It looks like Z is laying down on his background.
I got the seat cocked all the way back. All right.
he looks really.
I can't do the show from inside my house, so here I am in my work truck camping out. Doing it here.
As far as it goes for these main releases, who is someone that you now have the most hope for with all of them? And that could be even the producers, possibly doing something somewhere. Smitty, I'll start with you.
Probably EC3.
Okay.
Because we mentioned how underutilized he was. And the guy is so talented, he probably can go anywhere else and they'll make him look like a star. So maybe this is a chance for him to actually go out and actually be the star he will start to become in his last run of Impact.
Okay. Nick.
Rusev, honestly, I think he's been kind of clamoring for this. It's almost like a blessing in disguise. So, I mean, he's not like the greatest talent in the world or anything like that, but I think he's solid in the ring. And, you know, with or without Lana, I think he could flourish somewhere else, especially in a company like AEW or even NWA.
All right. Joe?
I think Gallows and Anderson, if they can make their way back to New Japan and if New Japan gets wrestling again anytime soon.
Right.
Or the Viking Raiders, maybe we can get War Machine back and Ray Rowe and Hanson back instead of fucking Eric and fucking Ivar.
So salty.
Come on, dude. Eric and fucking Ivar. Are you kidding me?
The Viking Raiders, man.
That's why
WWE
you get on
can't
a
go.
couple
WWE is not going to pay for War Machine, so they went with their heritage and things that they're actually doing. I don't understand
Who's
the
wrong with
anger.
the War Raiders?
What's
I guess.
that?
Why did they have to change them from War Raiders to Viking Raiders?
That I don't know, but again, they went with something that these guys have a background in. You know, when Sarah and him got married, they literally had a Viking wedding. It's just who they are. So I don't know. I guess that's why I'm not too upset about it, because it's not like it's a gimmick thrown upon them, just forced. I feel the Viking Experience was a name that was just stupid. I fully agree with that. I feel like the switch to Viking Raiders made it a lot more easy to digest, especially because it's stuff that they do in real life. So no longer it's not like one of these gimmicks that I feel Vince just throws on someone. Z, who are you most excited for to move on from WWE?
Zack motherfucking Ryder.
You think he sits with
there's two pluses to this.
Woo,
He
woo,
might
woo.
actually go to like AEW and get over, because that's all he did his entire career was get himself over, and Vince was like, fuck you. And number two, I forgot. Oh, now he can no longer post that still here shit on fucking Twitter. No, you're not still here. You are gone.
He's a white JTG.
Whatever.
His tweet.
John Spears needs a partner.
His tweet said,
Oh, that'd be awesome.
About his leaving. Said, the only thing I wanted to do in life was wrestle. I'm grateful I spent 14 years living my dream in WWE. Thanks to my fans and everyone who believed in me. As I was getting released, I was looking at this photo and smiling. The photo is him hugging his dad after he won the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania. He goes, I'm #always ready and beyond excited for the future. #not there.
There you go. There you go.
So you think we see the Major Bros in AEW?
You said what?
Do you think we see the Major Bros in AEW?
Well, how come Cesaro didn't get released? Like they barely use him for what he's worth, and they get to keep him. No, let him go and flourish somewhere else too.
Well, a lot of people are having a conversation about the fact that Lars Sullivan's still there.
Oh, I would. If you didn't tell me that, I wouldn't have known.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I had no clue that Lars Sullivan was still a part of this payroll. But
Who?
Lars Sullivan is still a part of WWE's payroll.
Yeah, the
Lars
missing
Sullivan,
link.
Yeah, the homophobe, the racist, the guy who the gay guy who is really mad at gay people is still a part of the WWE even after all the dumb shit that he has said. So a lot of people are kind of weirded out about that. The guy who I think could be a major factor in something else is actually Drake Maverick. You know, there's some people giving WWE shit for having him wrestle his 3 more matches in this cruiserweight
The interim
tournament.
tournament
Yeah.
for the interim champion.
But I highly doubt WWE is making him do that. I'm pretty sure when he was called, because his video is currently just floating the internet because the dude's crying and made you feel it. I mean, look, it's a person losing their job that they weren't expecting to. I mean, why would you think that you're going to lose your job when you're featured in 3 matches in an upcoming tournament that's going to be all over WWE television, right? So I'm pretty sure that they asked him if he still wanted to be a part of it, and he more than likely said yes. And that's a smart move for him because now it's very similar to what WWE did with Matt Hardy. WWE was like, hey, let's use Matt Hardy in this. And then at the end of it, they were like, shit, we just made this match. Someone has to ask Matt if he's staying. And Matt's like, I don't know, maybe. It really depends on what you guys offer me. And they're like, well, we can't fucking have this match. But they couldn't not do something regarding this because needed to, right? They had to have some sort of finish for it. So WWE kind of got Matt Hardy over in the last couple weeks on WWE Raw to where when everyone was really excited and there was no forget of his name. You know, Jim Ross said it, Matt Hardy said it. So now you got Maverick, who is going to be in 3 matches, 3 probably really good matches because in these tournaments
coming out.
In these tournaments that Triple H lets run, it's fantastic wrestling to watch. So I feel like he might get he'll be the last person really seen out of this group of people that were let go. And I really think that it's going to be something good for him. And if he goes anywhere, I would like to see him do something, probably an Impact.
X Division. That's what I said, him and Leo Rush.
I know. Yes, Leo Rush, I could see an Impact as well, but I think Leo Rush would be way better suited for like Ring of Honor or something like that. But I think Maverick going back to Impact, where he's already a name with the fans, he's already someone that they're familiar with. Plus, hearing that he's going there is also going to bring more eyes to Impact Wrestling. So I really think that Maverick, aka Rockstar Spud, goes over there. We're gonna kind of wrap this up. I didn't want this to be a long show. I just wanted to, kind of get everyone's feelings and everything on it. I'll ask a question, one question, and you guys just answer it. I'll tell obviously who. But I just want an opinion on this. I don't want to make this anything more than what it is. But Nick, I'll start with you. Is Vince McMahon a problem right now for these releases? Is he should we hold him accountable? Like, oh, XFL, apparently WWE had 23% stake in it. It went bankrupt, blah, blah, blah. Should we hold him accountable for this? Or is it just, look, business happens. This virus came and destroyed everything, bankrupted the XFL, which was doing better, or at least performing better on the field than the last time they did it. Is it just, look, business is business. You can't be totally mad at Vince for this. Or, yeah, Vince fucked up. He should have had the foresight to see that anything can happen with this.
No, me personally, I don't hold him responsible. I think it's business, and I guess you do have to expect the unexpected, but no one expected this. And I don't know the reasoning behind the releases in full, and they could be totally going for something different that we don't even can't even fathom, and I just kind of hope that's the direction they're going. I don't hold them responsible at all or have any ill will towards them. It's a business decision.
Yeah. Z.
I mean, a lot of these releases probably have something to do with them losing money. So they got rid of who they can get rid of without penalty. Like Nick said, it's a business decision though. Like, I mean, I don't give a fuck who you are. Vince McMahon is an evil genius. But he couldn't even see COVID-19 coming in, bankrupting some companies. The XFL, the problem was they were in their first year. So they were kind of basing everything off of what happened this year. And this year never got underway, so they lost a ton of money. Don't be surprised if you don't see a reboot in another 4 years when they come up with the capital again.
Well, again, they're trying to sell it all now, trying to save whatever they can get out of it.
Well, no,
Joe.
but
You already know my answer, bro. Of course, I hold him responsible. I mean, he told his WWE shareholders that WWE funds weren't going to be used to invest into the XFL. The lie detector came back and turned out that was a lie.
Nope, because he didn't use funds.
23% ownership is by the WWE.
They bought stock in the XFL. 23%.
Yeah, he told his shareholders that wasn't going to happen.
But he didn't use any of the money to get it started up. He bought stock in it. All that does is increase the value of the company. That's what stocks
told
do.
WWE shareholders that the WWE would have absolutely zero affiliation with the XFL. It was a lie. Okay, Linda McMahon just wrote Florida a fucking $20 million check so they could fucking film TV. Vince McMahon just ran WrestleMania against everybody's wishes and advice except for his own at a huge loss. So he's hemorrhaging money right now because of choices that he's made. I've been seeing the company succeed in spite of him for a long time. I don't know if he just put the nail in his own fucking coffin with this.
All right, Smitty.
Yeah, I agree with Joe. He should be held accountable. He gambled, he lost, and now other people are paying the price at this point. That's the way I see it.
Yeah.
Smitty, your head looks really big.
Huh?
I don't know. His head looked really big in my phone. It was just all Smitty head.
Regular human beings like you and I, undercard wrestlers aren't getting super rich. They've had their livelihoods taken away from them because of choices that Vince made. And
he gambled, he lost, and he's hemorrhaging money, but other people are paying as well.
Hemorrhaging money, dude. He'd have been hemorrhaging a lot less money if he didn't write a $20 million check to Florida and if he didn't fucking run a 2-day empty building WrestleMania.
Vince McMahon didn't write a $20 million check to Florida. That's not true. It is. It's not true. It is the super PAC that Linda McMahon is now that is now running, that existed 2 years before she took over. That it was not Vince McMahon. It was coming from the McMahon family. Sure, you can say that, but it wasn't Vince. If it did it, I'm not going to say it didn't.
The McMahon family, it was pretty much a fucking bribe so they could keep doing live shows in Florida, dude.
But it wasn't their personal money. It's the exact same thing with the XFL. WWE's money did not pay for it. Vince's money, when he sold his stocks, paid for it. WWE buying stocks as a company into that's something that it sucked. I agree. But the money from the WWE did not get XFL started. It did not. It was not. It was something that was purchased into the stocks, just like all the people who got checks, all of those companies that got government bailout back in 2008, and their checks went to buy back stock. It was to increase value. That's exactly what it's for. It's increasing value in the company so people can look like it's making more money, and then it goes up and and the stockholders make money on that. And it should have gone back into WWE because they bought stock in it. Unfortunately, they went bankrupt. So all of their stock went to shit as well. And I agree. That takes a hit on WWE, and that is a gamble. But it's not against what Vince said. It's just not true. You can't say that it is true when it's specifically not true. It's a stock purchase. That is not putting money into the XFL capital and things like that, to where XFL owes WWE money. It's WWE spent money on their stocks. They went bankrupt. You got fucked. You lost all your money that you put into that stock. And 23% of stock is a lot of fucking money. And I agree that there's 100% a gamble that you put on WWE, but it's not against what he said. Legally, I don't know what they're going to do. It's very possible that some of the shareholders can be pissed off.
He said WWE, including their stocks, the company would not have any affiliation with XFL. And that's not the truth.
buying stock doesn't make you. I can buy stock in Apple. I don't have
stocks to put it into XFL, dude.
But if I buy stock in Apple, I'm not affiliated with Apple. I'm not saying, hey, I'm now Apple.
Either way, he told people
Z,
that
you know more about stocks than I do. Am I wrong?
The problem is, I think you both are kind of right here, because although the stock just makes the XFL look more valuable, Joe is right in, if you buy stock in a company, you're technically affiliated with them. For example, you were just saying if you own stock in Apple, well, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to use all of Apple's products, but your money is exclusively now affiliated with the Apple company, not necessarily its product, but the company itself. You have some, personal investment in that company. So
you're hoping to see it.
I get
succeed.
what you're saying, whereas Vince didn't use any WWE money to do the startup, but with them buying stock in the XFL, whether it was Vince's decision or somebody else's decision, it's just a bad look.
That's
because
Vince's
he did come
decision.
out and say they weren't affiliated when, by small margin, they are.
All right. That's why I went to you, because you obviously know more about that. So, yeah, Joe, we're both right. You win. Yay. We're not Smitty.
What the fuck? I was the first one to say he gambled and lost.
I got your back, Smitty. I got your back.
I agree with Smitty on this one. And even though I just gave you shit, I agree that it is something that Vince has to have he played a part in, right? This is obviously something that happened, that because of things that he did, there is some accountability that has to go his way. But I also say that this is business, and majority of these things are based on the fact that this virus came out of nowhere. It bankrupted the XFL. XFL should not have been bankrupt. They were losing a little bit of ratings every week, but their product was a good product, way better than it was giving you the first year of the first time that X. Are you okay over there?
I was trying to get my dog's attention. Sorry.
But I do feel that a lot of this, I think it's 50-50. 50%, you can't be you can't go, fuck, this is all on Vince. But this is something that happened that's destroyed a lot of businesses, even ones that are large entities. But at the same time, it probably hurt WWE more because of the gambles that Vince took. So I would say it's probably on both. This could be a good thing overall for the WWE. If Vince has to take away a leave from WWE because of this, it very much could mean that you get better storylines and everything down the road. But again, we'll have to see how this plays out. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it. Just a quick one, half hour, quick. But we just wanted to, get into conversation with you guys about a real heart-wrenching day in professional wrestling. Whether you're a fan of these people, if you're a family member, a good friend of these people, this hits you hard, man. Looking at your friends, like family, looking at people that you're a fan of lose their job and lose an income that they were using to support themselves and support their family.
There's a lot of talented people on that list. Very talented.
Yep. So we're going to hopefully we see the best for these people now. It could be a blessing in disguise for quite a few of them. That's about it for us. We're going to start with Smitty, then Joe, then Nick, then Z. We are your ring crew.
Smitty.
Whole effing Joe.
Nick the Dick.
The Long Island Ice Z.
And me, the Almighty One, Mikey himself. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening, watching. Go to breakingdownthering.com. You can check out all of our social media, get some merch, and we are out.